This is her time to look away from the stream, but we're live. Welcome.
I know we're live. Hello, everybody.
Live.
Focused, totally on board. It's just that I'm also got the stream up on my phone and it stopped. So I don't know if that means that it stopped for everybody or just for me.
The first few minutes of this stream have been like, actually, the year so far almost. Some would say something went wrong, but we worked together and we solved it. And we're going to have some positivity coming out of it. And that's what I think I really want to highlight in this stream today. Is all about the positive things that have come from this year. Some people could say the year has been a car crash in many respects, but actually there's been some really positive things that have come from it. So Naomi, would you like to introduce what the stream's all about today?
Yes, I just want to say, though, one of the other things that just constantly amazes me about Alex, and one of his great qualities, Alex, one of your great qualities, is your ability to take any situation and bring it back to topic. That's Alex's role in the skills team. Tim and I go off in probably different directions, generally, and Alex brings us back to topic. It's still Naomi, not loaded on my phone, but is that because...
It's loaded on my phone, it's fine. Let's keep back. Right, so what we're talking about today then, Naomi, that was Joseph.
You're trying to do it again, and I'm just ignoring you. Yes, I will talk about what we're going to do today. We are going to do a review of 2020. Library review of 2020. That was a good jingle. We should have jingles for all of our live streams. I generally sing one, and if Tim was here, he'd be singing one as well.
I dance.
So, as Alex has said, it's been, well, everybody knows 2020 has been an interesting year. We're not going to focus too much on the outside factors of 2020, but we are going to talk about the library, what's been going on, all that positive stuff like Alex just said. So it's in the context of a global pandemic, but we're not going to talk about the global pandemic. So we're starting off with... And as Alex said, we've got special guests. We've never had special guests before. They are in some pre-recorded videos that we've never done before, hence all the technical stress. So it's all lots of new things. We do new things most times, don't we? Most weeks we're trying something new, constantly evolving, making our live stream look more beautiful and exciting every week. Who's doing the library news, Alex? Is that me or you?
You can talk it through and I can show it.
Oh, wonderful. So our library news is our library opening hours over Christmas. You say talk it through. That's basically what I've got written down. The library has opening hours over Christmas. Alex is showing on screen, possibly at the moment.
To keep up to date with the opening hours, I've got them on screen. There's a link that I've just typed in, which is libcal.derby.ac.uk/hours, but I'll show you how to access it. And you can see what the hours are for each different days because they are changing a little bit over Christmas. So to find out what they are per day, you go to the library homepage by searching either Derby and the University of Derby and the library, or just accessing it through UDO or the University of Derby website. Go to the library homepage, and then if you scroll down a little bit, it says changes to our opening hours, and then there's a page link here. And there has been some changes to the opening hours, but you can find out all about them for each different day on this page that I am showing to you right now. So, just moving back to Naomi and myself, all should be good. So yeah, that's the library news, is it not, Naomi?
That was the library news
of today's stream.
So I'm just going to talk a little bit about how this stream is going to be structured. We've got our skills review of the year, and that's in multiple parts. Alex and I are going to be talking about that, and then interspersed in an exciting way, we're going to have Mark talking to us about library services, that frontline service from the library, the physical library buildings. Mark is going to talk to us about that. We've got Holly. They're all going to do proper introductions when they start talking. But Holly's going to talk about Eudora, the university's open access repository and open access resources, and Adam is going to talk about e-resources. So we've got lots and lots of stuff coming up about lots of different areas of the library. And Alex, you're going to go first with the skills review part 1, talking about guides, podcasts and Studyfest.
So yes,
I had a Studyfest jingle, but I can't remember what it was.
In our topic of the week, we're going to be doing a review of 2020, aren't we?
That is our topic of the week.
Topic of the week with a stamp. So yes, our topic of the week is all about reviewing things. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the skills guides statistics from 2020 versus 2019. And to be quite honest with you, this year has seen a massive increase in e-resource use over the past year, and I'm just going to get them up now. The skills guides, for anyone who doesn't know, are our or things that get viewed online any point that you want, that have all of our skills, that have our skills content in, and we link all of our skills content, like YouTube videos and things like that, into these guides and books and other things for students to use. And some of our guides have been really well used this year. So academic writing, very, very popular as always. 20,000 different people have got onto that, or 20,000 people have gone.
20,000.
Well, 19,200, but I rounded.
Gosh.
Using the same rounding, 0 people went on to group work, which is our newest skills guide. But we've got various skills guides on topics like critical thinking. Reflective writing is also always popular. But what I'd actually recommend doing is have a look at some of the ones that are less reviewed. So there are some hidden gems in there that you might not always think about going to, but might actually think, if I do read this, I'll learn wider things. So, for example, evaluating sources of information and media is really crucial. We've recently, the academic librarian team have run a clinic about that, and that's got less than 1,000 views, but it's really crucial skills there that can help you get to first. Group work, that's one of our most recent ones, and it has some advice in there about coping with difficulties, which is what quite a few students do report happens. They do get difficulties in there. And the other guide is probably has less views than it maybe deserves, is Work-Life Balance, which is a really good guide with lots of tips about managing your time, and has lots of links to other things that can help you with managing your time and being happy while studying, because you study so much better when you're in a good position. So there's lots of advice there about that. So yeah, that is our skills guides stats that I would like to talk about today. I haven't compared them versus 2019, but I can tell you for a fact they have increased.
Yes,
especially
absolutely.
with the recent situation. So I just realised I just put the plan on screen, but that's okay. Yeah.
Well, no, well, I'm sure the viewers are clamouring to see the Word document,
Yes.
given we talk about it so much. Was I on screen just then?
You're on screen now.
I'm on screen now, but I wasn't just then, so nobody saw me just give a thumbs up to the delivery chat outside my.
No,
front
but
door.
people will see you a
That's
thumbs
right
up
then.
later to tease your interview that you did with Mark.
Well, there we go. I like the thumbs up. It's a good symbol. It's a good
Yes.
symbol. I'm really excited because the delivery that I've been waiting for ages has just arrived. And the whole of this live stream now, I'm just going to say I'm going to be waiting to go and get my parcel. I might even fetch it during one of the bits that I'm not on camera. Anyway, carry on, Alex. Podcast.
So, yes, podcasts. So this year, we have been working on a lot of new podcasts this year. And we've had a really good series called The Assignment Journey come out in 2020. If people don't know what that is, it's a series which I'll load up now.
We've had such fun doing the podcast,
So-
haven't we, Alex?
Yeah, we make lots of podcasts which are audio and listenable on your phone, and we post them to a website called Anchor, but they're linked into the skills guides, but you can also find them on other things like Spotify. And a series that we did is called The Assignment Journey, where we talk about the different steps of doing a assignment from when you first get it to when you complete it, and that's been really popular. I think in total we've had 6,000 people view our podcasts, which has been really, really good. But you can not just view them on Anchor, you can view them on things like Spotify by searching, if I can find the search bar, if you search University of Derby Skills Podcasts, and you can listen to all our podcasts there too. And according to our statistics, they've been viewed in 95 different countries this year, which I think is amazing. I just showed the screen deck. So, back to you, Naomi. So, I'm just wondering, Naomi, this year, what's your favourite podcast that you've been a part of?
So my favourite podcast, we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? My initial reaction was one that I recorded, that Alex was going to record, that I recorded because Alex was poorly. And I really enjoyed that one because I got to control everything and do everything. Although Alex did edit it, and Alex always edits out all my good bits. But actually, then I thought about it properly. And I thought, no, my favourite podcast was, it's one called Getting Ready for Academic Study. We recorded it right at the beginning of the year. Our colleague colleagues, Catherine and Diana, were in it with us. So there was 4 of us in that podcast. And it was just really nice to spend time with each other, talking about work stuff, obviously talking about sharing our skills, our knowledge, our experience. And it was just a lovely time. It was a lovely time. And I really enjoyed those moments of all the 4 of us working together.
I love that one. I think I remember someone took a photo of us and we all just huddled about, getting as close to the mic as possible. And that seems such a bizarre reality now, because we were getting as close as possible to all be on the same mic when we first had it.
That's true.
And now I don't think I've been that close to anyone in the past year. And that was a really good podcast, actually. I'll just show you that one on screen. That was a podcast called Getting Ready for Academic Study, which, I love doing that one. Because there's 4 of us in it. But we've since started to do podcasts with less people in them. Although the next podcast that I think I'm going to be working on might have more guests, but in a new way. So that's interesting. So
it's all very exciting.
So yeah, I'm glad
Alex,
you like that.
talk about your favourite podcast.
Well, it's interesting because I don't really know if I have. It's hard to say if I've got a favourite because I really enjoyed doing the entire assignment journey process, and I couldn't really say there's a favourite episode out of those if I was to say one. But I like doing all of them. But actually, I think probably the favourite podcast that I did was a podcast called University of Derby Student Skills Success Stories. And I interviewed one of our, Diana, who was a student, a former student. She worked with us at the time. And I interviewed her, asking her all about her experiences doing a certain skill. So in this one, I was talking about presentations. And that was really good, and it went really well. And it was nice to talk to one person about their experiences and ask them for what their advice is about that certain skill. And I've had some really good feedback about that, and I really enjoyed doing that one. And it was shorter than all the others, and it was snappy, and we got lots of advice given. And that's something similar to what I think I want to be working, that the podcast series that I'm going to be working on next semester, which is all about how to be successful as a student almost. And that's something that I'm really interested in doing in the future, is a series where I talk to people, either students or staff, about what makes a successful student. And you can really see what the tips and advice are from different people who've been to university and successful, but not just successful in terms of how well they've done in terms of getting grades, but successful in lots of different elements, including because of their different backgrounds and how they've coped with different experiences and so on. So I think that's going to be something that I'm really looking forward to working on in the future. And
Alex, am I on camera at the moment?
No, you're not.
Bring me back to the people.
The people can see you, Naomi.
The people can see me. This is my mug that Diana got me for Christmas last year. Alex has got his mug that Diana got him for Christmas last year. Every time I drink my coffee out of this mug, I think of Diana. Diana, if you're watching this, hello. Yeah. Every time I
that was unplanned, I just want to say, by the way. It just happened that I also had mine to hand.
No, I knew you would. It was all good.
So yes.
Right, moving on, because we've got lots to talk about, haven't we? And
loads to talk about today.
Are you going to talk quick? Should we talk quickly about Studyfest? Because
yes.
We've talked a lot about Studyfest recently, but go on Studyfest.
So yeah, something else we've done this year, which I think we're really proud of, is Studyfest. And
I think the jingle was along the lines of Studyfest, Studyfest, Studyfest.
Something like that.
Tim had a better one. Tim's was all Studyfest.
So Studyfest.
I'm going to stop now.
So Studyfest, for those who don't know, was a week long of skills events, not just relating to skills, but relating to studying, and it came not just from the skills team, but teams across the university. And we have a skills guide that can be accessed by going from the library homepage to find subject information, and then scrolling down to skills guides, and scrolling down again to Studyfest. And in this guide, there are links to almost all the recordings. Not all of them were recorded, but you can access the various recordings of those, not live. And I think that went really well. I don't know about you, Naomi. Would you like to talk any about
it was brilliant. I just want, we've talked a lot about Studyfest and how much we enjoyed planning it and then doing it. I just want to say about those recordings, they are going to be available until the 18th of December. So get in there and watch them and use them if you would like to, because they are a finite resource available till the 18th.
And
awesome.
Yeah, I think they went really well, the Studyfest recordings did. And I think the feedback that we got was really, really good about Studyfest. Students enjoyed them, and being able to access those recordings after the event is something that we've seen a lot of people do. So do access them afterwards if you are interested in any of them.
If any student wants to write us a Studyfest jingle, and send it in to us for us to use, then do, because clearly that bit needs work.
It does need work. Okay then, Naomi. So,
is this where we all cross our fingers and hope that the technical side of things works?
Not quite yet. So, the Studyfest this
do
year
like
was really
Peter Pan.
successful,
I
Naomi.
do believe in videos. I do believe in videos.
I do. Studyfest this year, I think, was really successful. And so, do you have something you want to announce again, just like Tim announced as well?
Well, so Studyfest 2.0, name to be decided, probably Studyfest, is in its very early planning stages for next term, next semester. So keep an eye out for the return of Studyfest. It will be coming back, and we are very excited for that already.
And we'll be making lots of new workshops for that, and not lots of new workshops. We'll be doing I think we'll be doing some new workshops for it, and it'll be really interesting because there'll be different there'll be a different variety of workshops this time, I think, or some changes. So if you have attended the last one and enjoyed it, do still have a look at the new Studyfest and see what's there.
Wonderful. Right, this is the bit where we all cross our fingers and
pray
hope really hard.
Or yes. So we're now going to go to our first interview. So we're now going to be.
Oh, just before, yes, sorry, you're about to lead into it beautifully. But I've just remembered Tim told me. So this is me talking to Mark about library frontline services. We say at one point that the libraries closed. Tim wanted me to say to you all, of course the libraries didn't close. The spirit of the library did not close at any point over this year, but the physical buildings did close. So when we talk about the libraries closing, we mean the physical buildings. We don't mean the essence that is the library, because obviously we were all still here supporting students.
Yes.
Just wanted to make that clear. Alex, you can do much better.
The library is not a building, it's a people, to paraphrase the end of the Thor, whatever the second part of it. The third or fourth film. I forgot.
I think you should play the video now.
I'm going to play the video.
Hello, Mark. Thank you ever so much for agreeing to be talked to. I was going to say interviewed then, but that sounds too formal and stuffy. Talk to have a conversation with us. How are you?
I'm very well, Naomi. Thanks for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to have a chat with you.
Yes, it's good. So Mark and I have worked together for many, many years. Too many years to start numbering, although I think it's 10. It's 10 years, Mark.
10, definitely.
I had my decade anniversary in June. Anyway, so yes, we've worked together for a long time. But do you want to tell the lovely viewers, introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, no problem. So my name's Mark Woodsworth. I'm the Library Experience Officer for the Derby sites. So I generally look after the Botanic Mill campus and the Kelsmere campus. So my role really involves managing a team of weekend staff and also the library reception staff, the lovely people you see at the front of the library.
Wonderful. So 2020 has been a bit of a year, as we know. How has that affected you and the frontline libraries? And tell us about that.
Well, really, as I'm sure everyone's seen in lots of other spaces, the push for going everything online has really picked up momentum. So at the start of lockdown, sort of March time, we launched our very first foray into online live chat, and which is really building on the lib package that we already had, which is a really great tool that the team have really got on board with very quickly.
Yeah.
And we've done lots of training around that very quickly as well over the summer period. So we've had quite a bit of time since March now to get on board with that. I think loads of students have been using it. In fact, I was looking at the stats just before this actually, and over 2,000 people have actually used it since March.
Gosh.
So I think that's a good.
It is a really amazing thing about that frontline service since March, isn't it? Because we've always done customer service. That's what we've done. We've always talked to students, staff, visitors, everybody. And in some ways, it doesn't matter how you do that. That service is the same, isn't it? But in other ways, it really does matter how you do that. And there's a lot to get on board with introducing a new format of that help and support. And that was something, like you say, that March just really pushed to the forefront, and the teams got on and did.
Absolutely. And we're actually really well positioned, actually, to be able to take phone calls from home. So pretty much as soon as everyone had to work from home, we were able to take phone calls from home at the same time. So we were able to respond to emails, phone calls, and obviously with the new live chat. So we were really lucky that we were already really well set up, actually.
Yeah.
A few minor training issues that we needed to overcome, but we did that throughout summer. And now all the team, when they're working at home, can answer the phone from home. They can reply to emails from home. It's just it just works.
Yeah, Mark, you're in the library itself, aren't you? Tell us tell us where you are in the library. What specifically you sat in?
Yes, so at the moment I'm based at the Kelson Road Library. So specifically, this is one of our fancy new Create pods, which we had installed not summer just gone, but the summer before. So summer 2019. Feels like a lifetime ago.
It does. It does.
But these, we've got 3 of these pods in the library at Kelson Road, where actually they can be used. They're semi-soundproof. Okay, so the walls here are specifically for sort of recording type things. So it could be that you're giving a recording on something. I thought this was a great example, actually.
Yeah.
Because it's got a very nice microphone in here, very good quality. So hopefully that sounds good on the recording as well.
We're just saying it's got those special walls, hasn't it? So you're in quite a small space, but it's designed not to be echoey.
That's exactly it. Yes.
Yes. By contrast, I'm in an alcove in my dining room. Now, the question that came to my mind whilst you were talking. So our Create pods are bookable, aren't they?
They are.
And you have to book your space to come in the library, don't you? How does that work then? If I wanted to book a Create pod and to come in the library, do I book twice?
No, you only book once.
I see. I wouldn't even ask this question because I thought it'd be horribly complicated. But is it just once?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, okay. Absolutely. So once you've got a booking, because you don't book the pod as such, you book a seat, and this is within the pod. So yes.
So I could go onto the library website and I could find the seat that is in that pod.
Absolutely.
And book it.
Absolutely. I'll give you the link, the direct link for this particular space, and then we can pop it in the comments.
Yes, absolutely. We can do. I say Alex can do all manner of fantabulous things with YouTube. We can absolutely put it in the comments, and we do lots of screen sharing, showing people how to book on all sorts of things, so we can cover that as well, I am sure. Now, actually, I'm genuinely pleased. I thought that was going to be a bad question to ask because it would be some horribly complicated process where you had to book the booth and book your slot and try and make the two match. But no, that's wonderful.
No, we've really tried to keep it as simple and as straightforward as possible with regards to booking access to the library. We really have. Was that going to be your next question?
No, I was going to ask about the reopening generally. So the library shut, didn't they, for the lockdown in March, because the government said libraries thou shalt shut. So the library dutifully shut. But we have reopened. Did we reopen? It was for the summer, wasn't it? It was when we were allowed to again, when the government said libraries could open again.
Yes, from the 1st of September, the University of Derby libraries opened. I remember because I had the last 2 weeks in August as a holiday, and the first week in September we were back and we were opening.
Does that feel like a long time ago now as well?
Just a bit.
Right, back onto the library. So we reopened in September, and how's that been? I'm very envious because I have been working from home. I'm very envious, and I did manage to sneak into campus once to pick up these headphones. But apart from that, I have not been in. So tell me about the reopening.
Well, it's been good overall, I think. I mean, personally, I really enjoy seeing the students back on campus. I enjoy myself being back on campus as well. So it is really great to see everybody. Obviously, there's been some changes. So as we talked about earlier, there's the booking system. So students can book in for either half an hour or for a 3-hour study session. So whichever. So if people print in, they need the 3-hour session because they need a computer. With the half an hour one, that's where you can walk around the building, pick up books, and take books out, like for reservations, for example. With the 3-hour one, you've booked either a computer desk or just a study desk, or in a create pod. And you can, of course, look at the books as well whilst you're in the library as well.
Yeah, and we've got all our COVID secure stuff on, haven't we?
Absolutely, yes. You've got COVID secure stuff everywhere, really. Yeah, you've got all the hand gel. You've got the markings on the desks, so that all the desks are set up at least a metre apart. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I did go when I. Oh, sorry. Say again.
I was going to say, and there's a one-way system as well, so
yes,
keep everyone really safe.
Love a one-way system now. I'm so pleased that they stopped doing it in the supermarkets, because I got so confused in the supermarkets with the one-way system. I kept on missing things, and then it was very difficult to go back for them. But the one-way system in the library, because when I did go to get my headphones, I had to go up the top floor to get the headphones. They were in an office on the top floor. I then went right down to the lower ground floor of Kettleton Road Library to just check on my old office and look at the plants, which didn't make it. So I got to experience the one-way system in full, and it's really straightforward, isn't it? You use the main staircase for going up and or down when you initially go in, and then the back staircase to return to the exit.
Absolutely, yes, exactly that.
Even I managed to understand the one-way system, and like I said, they are not my forte, so that's really good as well.
Yeah, that is really good. And obviously with the self-service machines, we've got really regular cleaning.
Yes,
they're getting cleaned really regularly, as well as things like the doors and all the touch points, basically.
And you also work at Britannia Mill, so are you going on site to Britannia Mill Library as well?
That's right, yes. And same again for that site. It's been set up in the same kind of way, apart from they have a bonus exit. So there's 2 exits to the library. It's basically the old fire doors.
Yes. So as we've previously said, Mark and I have both been working in the library for the last decade. And I used to work regularly at Britannia Mill. But it's a bit like 8 years ago now. And I still miss it. I loved working at Britannia Mill Library. I still miss working at Britannia Mill Library. And I take any opportunity I can to go and look at Britannia Mill Library, because it's just beautiful. And so that was before the refurb. I think it was whilst I was working there that it was refurbed. And it's just lovely. I miss Britannia Mill so much. And I do leap at opportunities to go there. So if you've not visited Britannia Mill Library, get on and book yourself a slot and go and look at it, because it's lovely. It's one of my favourite places to be. It
is a beautiful library. It's an old mill building, so it has, it's steeped with history. It is a beautiful building. And actually the university's done a really great job of refurbishing it. It had a massive refurbishment programme over several years. And you wouldn't recognise it inside, but they've still kept a lot of the features, the old features. So I think that is really good.
It is lovely. I just wanted to quickly say, we've talked about the Derby sites. That's obviously where you're based. Just to quickly mention as well that our other sites are open also on the same booking system. So that's Chesterfield, Buxton, and Leek. Same booking system, isn't it? You just select a different library location, and it all works on the same principles. All beautiful one-way systems. I'm not sure if Chesterfield has a one-way system, because I don't think there's space.
Well, the actual library is pretty small.
Yes,
but the site does have a one-way system.
That's true. That's true. Chesterfield also, beautiful building, St Helena's at Chesterfield. And then the Dome at Buxton. We're really, really lucky, aren't we? The spaces that the libraries are in the university are just fantastic. We're incredibly lucky. I feel incredibly lucky to be working in these environments, and also my dining room.
Beautiful as well.
Right, having been told that we have gone over the allocated time, I think we'll call it to a close there. But thank you again, Mark, for joining us. It's been good to catch up. And yes, thank you very much indeed.
Hopefully I'll see you in real life in the new year.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Fingers crossed.
Okay then, welcome back to the live stream. So Naomi, what is the next part of this stream all about?
Oh, so this is our skills review part 2, workshops. I'm going to talk about some of our workshops. So we have a workshop calendar in the library, with it just filled to the brim with exciting and interesting and useful, we hope, workshops. And those workshops, we have seen a 270% increase this year.
That's like 3 times as many.
Indeed.
2.7.
Indeed. So we're really pleased that people have been coming along, enjoying them and getting things out of them. And as a skills team, and I think I'm right in saying, Alex, this is me and you between us have developed these new workshops,
yes,
2020, on reflection, time management, academic writing, Word 365, note-taking, presentations, and proofreading. These are all things that I just want to say, all things that skills team in different iterations have covered in the past, but these were new workshops that you and I wrote this year to deliver. Yeah. With this focus on online, blended learning, all those buzzwords. We've pulled all those into the workshops that we've been doing, and I've really been enjoying them. It's been good fun. Also to mention, we had 2 new ones from our academic and research librarian team, planning your search strategy and evaluating your sources. So those all came in new in 2020. So I just counted them. I've lost count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 new workshops. That have been delivered over the course of the year. So it's fantastic, I think. It really is. Alex, what was your favourite workshop to run?
That's interesting. I think I enjoyed all of them. I really enjoyed talking in them because I really like the interactivity that comes with them, especially when there's quite a few students in them, but also when there's lesser students as well. So both ways are really interesting. But I think the ones that I probably enjoyed the most was the presentations one, because I got to talk really openly in that one about presentations and developing them, and I almost talked a bit about my own presentation and how I was developing it, and there was a little bit of pressure because
that's a bit meta.
If you're doing a presentation on presentations, you need to make it good. Otherwise, people think...
It's like my time management one. I really felt the pressure to stick to time.
You got to stick to time. But I really enjoyed it because I was able to be honest and tell people, look, I did a section on coping with nerves, and I was able to be honest with everyone and explain that I get nerves for everything. And sometimes these are the things that I do to get over the nerves that I have, because I get nervous before this live stream, although that's probably for different reasons than usual.
Yeah, you were very stressed before this live stream.
That's more stress than nervous, but I do enjoy my role. I don't get stressed in the role, and people can use that as evidence if they need to. But yeah, I really enjoyed the presentations one because it was really nice just to be open and honest. And although I think we had 9 students there, whereas in some of I did a few this semester where I had 80 or 90 students, but it was quite nice because we were able to properly discuss the things in it, and I really enjoyed doing it because I broke it. I think I had 1 point per slide, which is something I've never done before as well. So I enjoyed that one.
Wonderful.
What about you, Naomi?
My favourite one was the note-taking workshop, which I wrote and delivered. And I will tell you why. We were having a conversation about it, Alex, I recall, when we were talking about, should we do note-taking? So we developed it in direct response to applicant and student communications demands. So we run a workshop called Introduction to the Key Skills of Studying at University, and in that workshop we put up polls and we say, you tell us what topics you want us to cover in this workshop, and we put note-taking on, didn't we?
Only because of one reason, and that's because on the session description and I was like, no one's going to pick note-taking. And then it got picked.
Yeah, we really thought no one was going to. We put it in because it was on the session description, so we thought, well, we've got to put it in there so that it's an option. And we were like, no one's going to choose it. And then it really
got a landslide. It won by a landslide. It won again. We've repeated the workshop 2 weeks later, and it won again. And I was like, whoa. So we decided between us to do something about it.
But I remember our initial conversation, we were saying, could we fill an hour workshop talking about note-taking?
Of course you can. We can fill an hour with anything.
No, but we weren't sure. Well, that's true. But we really weren't sure at first. And so I went away, but then I started reading into it. I started doing some research, pulling that workshop together. And there was so much, it could absolutely fill an hour. And I really enjoyed taking that whole process from the start of the student demand, the student questions, right through to a 1 hour workshop that I think personally I enjoyed. I think was quite valuable, had some quite valuable tips in there, and people got a lot out of it, so I really enjoyed that.
Speaking of student demand, there has been demand from students, and the way we make our new workshops is we base them off what students want. So if you are interested in a workshop developing that we haven't developed yet, then feel free to let us know, and we can try to see if we can tie any content, either live stream or workshop in that, because we're constantly looking to do what students want. And speaking
Workshops
about,
we can do with a bit of time. Live streams we can do the next week. So it depends how urgent you want it.
yeah, next week or within a few weeks, depending on if it fits the theme. But speaking of that student demand, using student demand and feedback, we're actually going to be developing 3 new workshops this semester, aren't we, Naomi?
That's true. I just want to say though, we would change if we had lots of student demand for something in our live stream. We would absolutely change the theme so that it could happen the next week. But yes, we have 3 new workshops from the skills team coming in 2021. I'm saying this like they're written. I think some of them might be, some of them might not. We've got group work coming, a workshop on group work. We've got PowerPoint 365, and we've got exams. So look out on our calendar for those. And that, Alex, leads nicely into you showing people just ever so quickly how to find the workshops calendar so they can book on.
Going from the library homepage, just as we usually do. So I'm now on the library homepage, and from the library homepage, scroll down all the way to enhance your learning, learn online with the library. The library website is changing in a few weeks, so if it does, it might be changing in a few weeks. So if it does change, there will be very clearly signposts how to get to that. But just for now, scroll down to enhance your learning, learn online with the library, and down here you've got clinics and drop-ins, which is where you can access the academic librarians' drop-ins in clinics, and also drop-ins by the Maths Hub. And then you've got academic and research skills workshops here.
At this point, I'm just remembering that I really had meant to put on our skills ones onto the calendar before we did this live stream. But tomorrow they will be there. I will put them on tomorrow.
I love you tomorrow. It's only a day away. I don't know, I just thought I like a quote Annie for some reason.
What have we done? We've included Peter Pan, we've included Annie, and you've tried Thor, so of some description. So
very hip, well Peter Pan and Annie.
On it.
On it, 21st century.
Nice, grown-up, adult, up-to-date, recent films that we're referencing here.
So yeah, if you see here, there's loads of new workshops here, but there will be a lot more uploaded by tomorrow. Yes. And so just scroll down and you'll be able to see...
By the end of tomorrow.
By the end of tomorrow. There'll be lots of things here for you to have a look at. So that's how you access our calendar. For each event, I would recommend doing is registering. You can't register for the live streams, but just make a note of it in your calendar or diary. But you can register.
Or even better, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and you only get a notification when it starts.
That is true. I got a notification on my just earlier on my phone to say that we've gone live. But if you do want to sign up to one, you can register by just clicking on the event and then go to begin registration. Anyone who's registered for the sessions, I think they get sent a session recording. Definitely for mine. I can't confirm for everyone else's, but for mine, they all get sent a session recording. So yeah, shall we go back? We've
got our next special guest, the lovely Holly. She will introduce herself and what she's going to talk about in the conversation. But Holly is up next to talk about Eudora and open access.
And she talks with Tim.
Oh, yes, I was going to say also appearance here from Tim. We were supposed to, I can't remember if we were supposed to make a football analogy or not make a football analogy about Tim not being here. But anyway, he's in the, look on your face, Alex. He's in the video now.
So welcome, Tim.
Good morning, Holly Limbert, Open Access Librarian at the University of Derby Library. Hello, how are you?
Hello, yes, very well, thanks, Tim. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Would you mind, Holly, introducing yourself for our lovely viewers?
Yep, so I'm Holly, I'm a repository and open access librarian. I'm usually based at Keddleston Road, and I'm part of the research liaison team in the library. Working from home at the moment, as everybody else is.
Well, I'm not. I'm actually in an office in Chester.
Oh, well, yeah, apart from you. Well, some of us are on site, yes.
Yeah. So explain to me, I know what it is, but just for the benefit of our viewers, what is a repository and how do we use one at the university?
So the repository at the University of Derby is called Eudora, which stands for the University of Derby Online Research Archive. Basically what it is, it's a database that holds all of the research outputs of our staff, our researchers, and research active members of staff, and it also holds a collection of our completed doctoral theses as well.
Right. So it's from all our stuff, you said. So as soon as a lecturer, for example, publishes a paper, they would actually put that in Eudora.
Yeah, so the only kind of stipulation that we have around depositing in the repository or submitting to the repository is that it's been through, the output's actually been through some sort of peer review process.
Right.
So that obviously ensures a level of, rigour and integrity and in the research outputs that are in the repository, because they're obviously reflective of the university. We want to make sure everything that's out there has been through some sort of review process, yeah.
Yeah, that's really important for our students as well, isn't it? That they know that it's peer reviewed.
Yeah. So most of the things in there, well, all of the things in there have been, accepted for publication. So everything in there is, it's, of a certain level of rigour, as I've just said. Yes.
Cool. So having gone digital this year, like everybody else, we all work from home and it's all COVID, this, that, and the next thing. Have you seen an impact on the use of Eudora as a result of that?
I think in general, the open access and the movement, the open access movement has really gained a lot of traction, probably more prominent since COVID-19 has come along, because people have had to wanted to access more research, more knowledge about COVID-19. So yeah, I think definitely repositories and Eudora will have seen an increased usage, because we're having to work from home, we're having to access online material a lot more than we might have done prior to the pandemic. So yeah, definitely, I think there's been an increase in usage, both in terms of people submitting to the repository to get their research out there, but also in terms of people actually using the repository to inform their own knowledge. So yeah, there's definitely been an increase, and I'm sure that's not just at the University of Derby, but worldwide.
Yeah. So open access is something that I suppose it's not new, but we've only really started talking about it in the last 10 years, I think, as university libraries. So what makes open access, basically what I'm asking. So
I think, the difference, maybe your question was more in terms of what's the difference between open access and subscription access, say.
Yes. Yeah.
So, open access, it's free in most cases to use at the point of publication, or it's available via a repository to access. I mean, it's out there, it's free online to use. It usually comes with a reuse license, which means that you can download, adapt, remix, build on that work for free. And, open access just means that it's accessible to anybody with an internet connection, essentially. So if you're not affiliated with a research institution, or, you're a member of the public, or somebody perhaps in a country that doesn't have access to libraries or because of paywalls, etc., open access just means that you can access it for free, quickly, online, without the need to pay for it. So
yeah,
it's better than subscription.
Yeah, so that's a really important point, I think. But in particular, we know we have a lot of international students that study from anywhere in the world. We've got a lot of students in Africa and Asia, wherever it may be. And they are able to access open access journals without having to pay for it, which is actually amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is amazing. And, there's been a recent study between Springer and Cord, I think they're called. I can't remember what that stands for now. But basically what they've done is an investigation into the use of open access books, particularly looking at places like Africa, to see, if they are in fact being used more than your, print book. And I think they found that it was 10 times more likely to be downloaded if it was an open access book. So that just goes to show the evidence is there to support the fact that people want open access. It's going to be used more frequently in countries where they might not have access because of paywalls and things.
But at the same time, it also gets used more with us, I suppose, because as a university library, we can only subscribe to so many journals. We can't subscribe to everything, can we?
No.
So,
and I think, the more, particularly as we move into 2021, we're going to see a shift more from a subscription-based. So it's not going to be as much, at the moment we can pay for our subscriptions and we access the content that we subscribe to. Moving into the future, it's probably going to be a different type of deal where we're actually going to be paying for publishing rather than kind of reading. So we pay a certain amount of money, which will allow us to, our authors to publish more frequently open access, in open access journals, which will then obviously ensure that there's more open access content. So yeah, I think definitely going to see a shift to open access, because that's the way things are headed. That's the way that all the funders, research funders, are wanting the proceeds of their funding to be spent on open access, or so that's the way that it's going. That's the way research is heading. So I think definitely going to see that transition.
And it's also getting bigger, isn't it? It's not just about publishing anymore. So I'm very interested in open educational resources, OER. So, what you use in a lecture or what you publish on, like our library guides, things like that.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
We have, and then we also have open research data, haven't we? That's something else that's coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that's going to have a big impact in 2021? Do you think our researchers will have to do something about that?
Yeah, I think definitely, we have recently written a new research data management policy for the university that we are going to have to, roll out and ensure that people are adhering to that policy. So anybody that produces data will then have to deposit it in our repository. And I think open data is obviously something that's gained a lot of momentum as well. As you say, it's something that's on the horizon, because people want to actually interrogate the data. Yes, it's great the final output's being out there, and that's what we all want to see, but it's also really important to have that data made open so we can interrogate that, so that people can really look at where the information is coming from and kind of make their own judgments based on that data as well. So, because we all know, with open research outputs are great, but there's always going to be perhaps a level of bias in everything that's out there. So, I definitely think open data is going to be, I think it's going to move forward in 2021, probably the next 10 years, kind of like we've seen with open access outputs. Perhaps the next ref policy might accelerate that as well. So,
It's still slowly though, isn't it? It's not something that happens. Yeah. Right. We're nearly at our 10 minutes, Holly. So I'm going to ask you a couple. Yeah, I know you can. A few quick fire questions to end off with. One sentence, summarize 2020.
Challenging, boundary pushing, and scary.
Very good, yes. And one sentence, what is your biggest hope for 2021?
To get back on site, go back to the office, kind of resume some sort of normality.
Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it, if we don't have to work from home anymore. I mean, this year it's just been, well, the title of the stream today is "Oh, what a year." It really has been one of those. I was actually sitting in the car driving to work this morning, and I thought, I wish we never have a year like this again. And then I realized that we've never had a year like this before anyway. It's been such a bizarre year,
It has.
Normally
it's been really
a week or,
hard. But I think just get back on site, keep doing the work that I'm doing, keep kind of pushing and promoting open access and repository, and just keep fighting the good fight.
Absolutely. I really hope, Holly, that we will have you on one of our streams in the new year as well. Just to keep talking about open access. I think that would be really good. And I want to thank you for your time, because I always find this really interesting. I'm really passionate about open access anyway.
Absolutely,
Yeah, so this is
it's
really good.
Great to talk to you, Tim.
Excellent. Right, thank you very much. Let's wave.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
And just like that, we're back live again. So hello, Naomi.
Hello. I love how smoothly this is all going. I assume it's going smoothly. I have full confidence.
I think it is. There was an explosion at the start, but other than that, since we've been live, it's been good. So I thought in the interview it was really interesting to hear what Holly's answers to the quickfire questions were. And so we actually asked Mark the same quickfire questions after her interview. And Naomi, would you like to sum up what Mark said?
Yes, so after we did Mark's interview first, and then we did Holly's interview, and then we thought, there's some good quickfire questions. So we went back to Mark, bless him, and asked him again. So, sum up 2020 in a few words. Mark said, working at pace and always looking to improve. Brackets, hectic. That was my brackets.
Because that's what he'd say in real life, brackets.
Yeah, that's exactly how that's how real life communication happens, doesn't it?
Yeah. Exclamation mark. Oh, you can't see me. I'll hand it off screen.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And what are your hopes for 2021? World peace, obviously. And as soon as I saw these answers from Mark, I said, Mark is a fundamentally good chap. That sums up Mark. Thank you, Mark.
So stick around till later and you can hear what our answers to those quickfire questions are, as well as Adam's after his interview. So Naomi, what's the next section of the live stream?
Skills review part 3. Da, 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 da. Alex, you're going to talk about videos and live streams. That again is going to get meta in a live stream.
I am indeed going to talk about live streams. So this year on our YouTube channel, this is the first year we've actually properly had a YouTube channel. And I'm just going to showcase it to you now. So this year...
you've probably used the YouTube channel.
Yes. So we've had a YouTube channel for a number of years, but we actually only made our videos public in the start of January this year. And in that time, I think we've had over 60-something uploads, nearly 70, and loads of things all relating to skills. So you can see there's, for some reason, our live stream there is behind. I think it's because of when I scheduled it. It's behind the video that came out on Monday. But now we're uploading videos every week and doing a live stream every Wednesday. We've been growing quite rapidly in people who subscribe to us, which is really nice. We're aiming for 500 by the end of the academic year, so by the end of, I think, May or June. And we're doing really well. I think we were on like 50. No, not even that, 30, I think, when we went live in January. So it's really nice.
Yes, so if you've not subscribed to our channel, if you would subscribe, it will make Tim and Alex very happy to meet that target. And also, if you could get 199 of your friends to also subscribe, then we'd be set.
Oh no, 193.
193.
Around 306.
So you, the watcher of this live stream, if you subscribe and get 193 of your friends to do also, we would be very, very grateful.
So next year, in terms of content, we're going to continue uploading extracts on workshops, which is really nice. And I've just been starting working on a plan for what we're going to put out next year. But that plan is going to focus all around the type of things that students. It's going to focus all around the types of things that match the student journey. So we're looking at what things are relevant for when and trying to match when they are. Which will be definitely. This year I tried to align it where possible, but I was basing it on the content that I had. Now I've got a bank of content ready to go, and I can put that out when it links to the student journey. So that is general content. But in terms of live streams, we're doing live streams every Wednesday, and now we're going to try and broaden the focus up to include more of a library feel, because this is the library live stream after all. It's not the skills live stream, and it's going to be really nice to have some more guests on, talk to some different people in different areas, and we can really broaden the scope of what we can cover and help you to support you with. As Naomi alluded to earlier, if anyone has got anything that they'd like covered, just let us know, and we can try and help facilitate that in the live stream. Workshops, we plan them well in advance, whereas live streams, we have less of a plan in place until about a week or two in advance, just so that we can...
the Word document.
Yeah.
It all fixes around the Word document.
Yeah. And then we can adapt what we are doing to what students want. So if you haven't got anything, do let us know. But I think that's all I wanted to say about things. Oh, I just got the thing. We've got 11,000 views of our content in the past semester. I think it was more in the past year, but I can't remember what it was for the past year. But 11,000 views this semester on our content, which is amazing.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed doing it, haven't we? Are we going to talk about favourite videos?
Yeah, you can talk about your favourite video.
Alex is now not following the plan. This throws me. Alex always follows the plan.
I didn't know.
The plan says we should talk about our favourite videos of 2020.
Yes, let's talk about those favourite videos. So Naomi, what's your favourite video?
So my favourite video was basically it's the one that involves me, obviously, the one that is me talking, just me on my own. So I did a video very early on in the year on reflecting on feedback. It's the first one that I did. I was proper nervous, talking about nerves again. I was proper nervous, and if you watch me do it, I'm swaying in it. I can't help myself. My body is moving from side to side. I remember once you managed to speed up, Alex, and I was doing this, whoa, and it looked like I'd really gone for it. I was very, very nervous, but I was very pleased to have done it. That feeling after you've done it, when you're nervous about anything, and then you do it, and it's successful, and then it's done. The key point is done, and you always feel really good, don't you? It was definitely that kind of feeling, so I really enjoyed doing that one.
Yeah, I think so.
Alex, what's your favourite video?
I think my favourite type of video that I've done is the ones that we've had for slides. I was working on top tips, and I was basing those off what students had and what staff have given to me as well. I've really enjoyed working on those. So I think I've had a few like top 5 tips for critical analysis and so on, and they've done really well on the channel. But I think, if I'm honest, I would like to do more in-person videos, but that's obviously not been possible with the pandemic. So we focus more on workshops. But in the future, we will be doing hopefully more videos in person on campus, and hopefully with students, because that'll be something very interesting. So the podcast series, like I said, I'm working on in the future, that will include students, and hopefully we can have some more video content with students involved as well.
Awesome.
So we're back on screen now, Naomi.
Excellent. I don't know if we've been on screen that whole time.
No, we weren't on screen.
Maybe not. No, I really shouldn't try and pretend that I know what I'm talking about.
No, we were. I was an idiot.
Yes, you flipped back. You've gone confused.
I got
now
confused.
You're showing the Word document again, Alex.
Naomi, I already changed it, but it's 10 seconds ago. Oopsie.
Oh, it was 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give up trying to understand the technical side of things.
I confused the polarity, that's all. I forgot to...
You reversed the polarity. That's the Doctor Who. That's slightly more relevant and
Doctor Who.
adult than grown up than...
6 years ago? Okay,
yeah.
so...
We're getting there. We're coming up to the present day with our cultural references. E-resources and lovely third special guest, Adam.
Cool. So I'm just going to transition to that now. Very much for giving your time today to talk to us all about content and discovery and this past year. Before we begin, would you like to just briefly introduce yourself to the viewers at home?
Yeah, my name is Adam Robinson. I am the content manager for the library. My role is to source content. The clue's in the title, I suppose, to source content and make sure that we've got enough provisions and resources for our users.
That's a huge role, having to source the content for the entire university. That's pretty big. So I know that you started just before the pandemic hit. So how was that? How did everything change when in March?
Wow, I mean, that's a big question. Yes, you're right to point out. Yeah, I was brand new to the university. I think I've been in post about 6 weeks before COVID hit, before we went into lockdown. No, so I got to meet a few people, put a few names to faces, and then it was basically a case of working digitally and virtually thereon, really. But it's a baptism of fire, but it's been a really rewarding experience, despite being challenging. There's definitely been a lot of challenges, but it's been great because obviously everyone really pulled together across all the different teams, particularly within my team. Everyone just stepped up to support each other and gave that 110% to just make sure that we were doing the best we possibly could.
Yes, you said about challenges in terms of just changing everything, but obviously I think as a library we've done really well this year to try and move into this digital platform. So with e-resources, do you find that people are using e-resources more because of the challenges that the general library was facing now being virtual?
That's a complicated answer to give. Part of me wants to say yes, but it's not quite the whole picture. So I can't give you a straight, yes, we're using a lot more resources, unfortunately. What I can say is that, the initial reaction So going into lockdown meant that obviously we had to rely a lot more on digital resources. It meant we had to try and bolster those collections to make sure that we're providing our resources for our users, which was a big challenge. What was really nice to see was that a lot of publishers and suppliers came together and gave us a lot of free access to content that we didn't previously have. Most of that access finished around about July, at the end of term. Some of it has been continued on for the whole year. So there's things like JSTOR and ArtStore we have access to the end of the next academic session, which is fantastic. So that was really nice to have, input like that from the community. That was really lovely. But obviously, we also, went about ourselves to try and make sure that we were purchasing a lot more content digitally. We invested quite heavily in EDA, which stands for demand-driven acquisition. So it's a bit of library terminology there, but essentially what it means is when users go to eBook Central, one of our major platforms, providers of ebooks, they can, when they go and access an ebook that we don't actually hold, they can download the ebook, and then the library automatically purchases that in the background. Yeah, it's a really fantastic service, and it's definitely something I'm keen to promote and let our users know about and encourage you to use it. So far, we purchased about 500 books just using that channel. We obviously we purchased some databases as well. So things like Academic Complete, there's about 187,000 ebooks in that collection. But then there's also the individual purchases as well, things that come from Books for You and different channels. And we've purchased about 1,600 ebooks that way. So to go back to the question of usage, yes, there's more resources for our ebooks. So it's probably not an accurate measure, but yeah.
The university's been investing in new types of resources and things like that. Were there any links that you could provide that I could put in the chat for those various things? You can do so afterwards.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah.
So around about now, hopefully, future Alex will be putting those in the chat. It might be slightly late though, because he might be reacting to me as I say this. But yeah, so I know one particular resource that you helped invest in was something called Biblio, which is a skills resource. So do you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, so Biblio's platform, and they're essentially a textbook provider. And we purchased a study skills, a very focused study skills collection. Again, that was quite a small focus collection of about 14 titles, but they were handpicked consciously to make sure that we were supporting students in key areas. So there's things like how to write your dissertation, for example. Some very focused titles in there, and that's been quite successful. We've had some good usage in there, and I think Biblio is quite a nice platform. It's quite intuitive. And of course, they have fantastic accessibility features as well. Yeah,
I love the ability to highlight within it. With ebooks, my biggest issue is like I couldn't highlight, and with Biblio and probably some of the other ebook providers that there are now, you can highlight and edit them and add comments and such, which is what I like to do with paper copies, or what I like to do with Word documents. So it's very nice to be able to do that in ebooks, and without potentially damaging that book for someone else. So you can borrow a book and edit it.
Absolutely, they're fantastic. They're portable. You can access your reading anywhere because you can take them you can download the app. You can look at it on your phone, on any device. So you can take them anywhere. So they're portable, they're green. The accessibility features are fantastic. As you said, you can highlight, you can make notes, you can export out, you can print, you can download. And if you're dyslexic or if you have any visual impairments, there's also there's text to speech functionality, and it's really, really helpful. But you can change the background. So if it's an EPUB, what we call an EPUB, you can change the background colours so text stands out a bit clearer. If you have trouble seeing text and things like that, really, really good.
I love the read to speak feature. I use it all the time because with my course it's heavily reading, and so I often when my eyes get tired, I just have it read to me. I try and listen to it, so it's really nice to be able to have that as a feature. within ebooks, because your books can't usually read them to you. People say, oh, your books aren't going to read themselves. Well, no, they are, as long as you listen, though, so make sure you listen.
But no, the only thing I was going to say was that you know, it's great for in terms of people being able to access it simultaneously as well. So if everyone in the class wants to access one text, they can. Whereas obviously, if you've got a print book and there's only one available, you know, you can't guarantee that everyone will be able to, you know, get access to it. So it's great for that as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know in my class sometimes they recommend a book on a reading list, and everyone would run and just be like, I want that book. Whereas now you can access it online without having to necessarily travel anywhere or have fears about having to return it potentially. I mean, sometimes they do expire, but then you can often renew them. But that's quite nice, and I've enjoyed using ebooks more than I thought I would when I initially started. I was surprised by refreshed by how nice and easy they were to use. So I think one of the final questions I've got for you is, so the ebooks, the university has invested in a lot of ebooks since the pandemic started. After the pandemic, or hopefully after everything returns to a sort of new normal, do you feel that the uses of e-resources and ebooks will return back to normal, or do you think they'll change slightly, and if so, how?
I think it's a really interesting question, and I couldn't say with any authority how it will definitely go. Obviously, it's difficult to predict what people's personal reading habits will be, and of course we're still at that stage where we don't quite know what the future holds for us. I think certainly that, you know, we're not going to stop providing print anytime soon. We're still going to make sure that we can do that. It's just making sure that we can get access to students. I think overall, I think, you know, we will continue to invest in digital provision to make sure that, you know, we are providing content available in an electronic format as much as possible. So we will continue to invest in those areas and build our digital collection, certainly.
Yeah, I agree. There might be more of a duality of both forms than there used to be. So often it used to be almost more likely to be in print and potentially ebooks, whereas now it might be closer. I don't say it would one-to-one potentially from, but I know in terms of what we're doing and what we might mention earlier in the live stream is about how things now will be more dual in the sense of they'll be both online and offline at the same time to make them accessible for different audiences. So yeah, I think those are the main questions I wanted to ask you. I've now got two quick fire questions for you. So first of all, in one sentence, can you try and sum up 2020 for both you and your work?
Yeah, in one sentence, I would say that it's been challenging, but also full of hidden rewards. You know, people pulling together, solidarity and generosity.
Yeah, I totally agree with those. The hidden rewards part, there's so many advancements that have come this year in various ways that would have taken ages to happen normally that are going to change the world in good ways in the future. That's
it. And just those little surprises as well, little things that you weren't expecting, and it's just been nice to see. And I think as a sector, higher education has really pulled together and done some really great things this year. So yeah, it's been really nice to see that.
Okay, I have one last question. For the future and for 2021, what are your hopes going forwards?
Well, I would like to see us build on what we've learned from this year. You know, as you were saying, it's been a lot of challenges, but I think we've learned a lot of lessons as well. And I'd like us to capitalise on that and take it forwards, really. One of the things, you know, that we've been very committed to is sort of revisiting our processes and what we do and what we provide and the services that we're providing, really, and seeing how can we make these better and how can we help the end user more. So we've been looking a lot at our digital architecture, so looking at our LibGuides, what support's available and is it intuitive, and there's a few other things as well. There's a couple of things, you know, I'd love to talk about. I can't say too much at the moment, but I would say, you know, in the new year, I think we'll be able to announce a couple of exciting things, maybe a couple of services that'll be brand new, and I think will be, you know, make a big impact. So I'm quite excited about that. But one of the things I can promote a little bit is to say that we've been looking at the redesigning the library website. just to make it a bit more user-friendly, a bit more intuitive. My colleagues, Matt and Natalie, have done fantastic work. So I can't wait for us to launch that in January, and you can get to see it. But it will, I think it will be a much better experience. You'll be able to access everything you need instantly on that homepage. So I think it will make a big impact.
I'd say it looks really good from the demos that I've seen so far. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that as well. So yeah, thank you very much, Adam, for joining us for this interview today. And I think we're now moving on to the next stage of the live stream. So thank you again, Adam.
Thank you. See you.
So thank you again, Adam, for that interview. We should be back live now. So
Exciting times.
Exciting times indeed. So just to say, Adam was very kind to then tell us all about the new website, which is very interesting. But there's loads of new things in for 2021 from what we've said there. So we said that we're doing a new podcast series. We've got loads of new workshops. There's going to be new services across the library. So it's lots to be excited for in the future. And I think there's a glimmer, quite a lot of hope and interesting things that I'm looking forward to seeing. And Studyfest 2.0, of course.
We were thinking of names, weren't we? Studyfest. Studyfest. Study in the fest.
To study, to fester.
To study, to fester. Again, let us know, but it's probably just going to be called Studyfest.
We'll see.
Unless someone comes up with something really good.
I'd just like to mention, by the way, when it paused midway through, I had my mic muted when I tried to mention the fact that the links are in the description for the things that Adam mentioned. So, but I had my mic muted when I said that, so it paused, nothing happened, then it got unpaused. So that's what happened. Naomi probably saw me in the Zoom call that we've got, just going, what am I doing?
I saw the reaction, but I didn't know what he'd done. Because
I realised what I'd done about a minute later. So yeah, it's interesting to hear what everyone's responses were to those quickfire questions. Unless you've got anything further to say, Naomi, about what Adam had to say, would you like to move on? Shall we move on to our answers to the quickfire questions?
Yes, you go for it.
Okay. Well, my answer to the somewhat 2020 in a few words is, I think obviously it was surprising, but I also think there was lots of things that were good that came from the bad. Obviously, there were a lot of things that happened this year that weren't great. But I instead of focusing on those, I like to think about all the good things. So we've made so many advancements in various ways. Digital content is now out there and it's so much more inclusive. So our online content is now a place where people can access on demand in terms of what we've done. And so you've got to think about all the parts of the hope, and there are lots of hope from 2020 that we can move forwards into the future.
Shall I sum up 2020 in a few words? I'm not sure I can. I think, certainly from a work point of view, we've tried to sum up 2020 in a few words in this live stream, and it's the longest one we've ever done. And we've gone well over the hour that we normally do. Do you not, Alex, look back? It's really struck me doing this and just think how much we've done. I'm really, really impressed with what we've done as a skills team, with what we've done as a library, with what we've done as a society. So I don't think I can sum up 2020 in a few words, other than it's been great. There's been less good parts of it, but there's been lots of good as well, as you said, Alex.
And I've really enjoyed doing all this stuff. It dawned on me a few weeks ago that I've been now working at home longer than I've been working in person.
Really?
Yeah. So I worked for 6 months in person, and I'm now at 9 months online. So 9 months online, 6 months in person.
Gosh.
Which is a bit different
to Adam. That sums up 2020, doesn't it?
Yeah. Poor Adam was on, I think he said he was on 6 weeks in person, 9 months not. But yeah.
Oh dear.
So Naomi, second question, what are your hopes for the future?
Well, again, we've talked about all the things that we're going to be doing in 2021. It's going to be amazing. It really is. It's going to be amazing.
I'm hoping that we can keep the benefits that we've gained from the year of 2020. Like I said, there are a few big benefits, and I hope we can capitalise on them and not just go back to what used to be normal, because there are things that are positive. So whilst we do change and revert to the things that we fix the things that are bad, we actually keep hold of the things that were good. So the things that are like the online delivery of content, I think that was something that we might keep forever. Zoom meetings over the internet where possible, and things like that. And I think that's going to be something that I really hope does happen in the future, is that we keep the positive advancements of today and take them and keep them on board when we return to a newer normal. And by new normal, I don't mean it's because of the pandemic and the changes such as wearing masks. I mean the new normal, and we've taken the benefits in a new way of society, and we gain in both ways.
Awesome. What it says on the plan now is, Naomi, to summarise and conclude. This is, Alex is going to just put his head in his hands now, I expect. But just from a personal point of view, to summarise and conclude, you'll all be pleased to know I picked up my delivery that was left outside the door. I've got some exciting new yarn that I'm very excited to get working on. And also, I did that thing where you feel in a pocket and think, oh, there's something in this pocket. And I found my very exciting penguin face mask that I thought I'd lost. So I have gained lots from this live stream, just from that alone, but also all the things that I have that we've heard, that we've talked about. I'm not going to summarise them because, like I say, we've talked about them at length. If you have forgotten any of them, you can go back and look again. But the summary and conclusion is that it has been a good year, and we're looking forward to a great year in 2021.
Yeah. New content.
But next week our live stream is our Christmas special as well.
It is.
We're thinking out puns and alternative lyrics to Christmas songs and Christmas jumpers and everything. It's going to be fantabulous. Oh, and I've got a Christmas themed grammar topic of the week coming up, so you don't want to miss that.
You see, I was going to make all the puns, but I thought that might be rather elfish of me.
Don't get started too early. Don't use them up.
Wait, can you can't wave me off the live stream because I'm in charge. Yay.
I can't get rid of Alex off the live stream.
Not this time.
No.
Yes, anyway, so my summary of the future is just think, lots to be excited for. New workshops, new Studyfest, new website, lots of new content. It's all coming up good, and you've got access to all the past YouTube content, and we're going to be revisiting our workshops if you've missed any, and it's all exciting. And potentially a new podcast series, so definitely tune into that if I do make it. And when I release it.
I think we should draw this to a close, Alex.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and see you next time.
Yes, thank you for watching, everyone. Cool. I'm now going to click the end stream button. Cool. Bye. Yes, I want to end it.